and your leadership as well. It's great to be here today alongside my great Deputy Premier, Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones. Sylvia. And my great Minister of Colleges and Universities, Nolan Quinn. He's the tall guy around here somewhere. And there you are. And of course, the mayor. What a champion. You know something? I think the world of the mayor. I like Jenny a little better because she makes me cookies, right? And I won't be sleeping in the basement tonight, tell her, so that's all good. But before we get started, again, I just want to thank Stephanie and the entire team at the Economic Club of Canada for hosting us today. I also, as I mentioned, the partnership with Mayor Sutcliffe is second to none. You know, we talk frequently and have very open conversations, and I'm just blessed to have a great partner here in Ottawa like yourself, and for moderating today. And I look forward to our little chat in a few minutes, Mayor. And it's great to see so many familiar faces in the audience and so many business and community leaders here. Friends, I always love coming to Ottawa. I think I told you that, Mayor, from day one, where I was first nominated and went for the leadership. Every time I come here, I have a phenomenal meeting and meet so many great people and visit so many incredible companies, and it's just an amazing city, a unique city. The province's second largest, it serves as an economic and service hub for all of Eastern Ontario, and you could really say all of Ontario in a lot of different sectors. It shares a border with our neighbors in Quebec and stands proudly as our nation's capital. Earlier this year, given the vital role Ottawa plays in our province and in our economy, Ontario announced a new partnership with the City of Ottawa. This new deal for Ottawa provides the city with up to $543 million in operating and capital funding to help the city and the region continue rebuilding the economy and deliver on key priorities. These investments will improve roads, highways, and other transportation infrastructure, enhance public safety, reduce homelessness, get more homes built, and attract new investments in the advanced manufacturing, life sciences, and tech sectors. Building on this historic new deal, I'm thrilled to be back here today to talk about the progress we're making. Today, I'm able to announce that our government is investing $48 million over 3 years on 7 new initiatives that will improve safety and security on transit and in the downtown core. This includes funding for more uniformed OC, Transpo, Special Constables on the transit system, new community-based initiatives including outreach and alternative mental health supports, and money to bolster police presence in the byward market. Ottawa, like other cities across the country, is also facing the pressures of an increased number of asylum seekers and people experiencing homelessness. That's why today I'm here to deliver another $40 million in new funding to support emergency shelter operations in the city. As we do, work continues on other New Deal commitments, including preliminary work on uploading Highway 174, on the new interchange at Highway 416 and Barnsdale Road, and work to repair and upgrade major connecting routes and rural roads, critical to keeping the people, goods, and services of Ottawa moving. And friends, we're also continuing our work to continue to build Ottawa's economy, particularly downtown, supporting the entrepreneurs and businesses. That makes Ottawa's neighborhoods so great. The new funding I announced today and our ongoing collaboration with Ottawa, our great partnership with Mayor Sutcliffe, are a clear demonstration of our government's commitment to Ottawa's success. We're going to keep working with Mayor Sutcliffe and his team to get it done for Ottawa and all of Eastern Ontario. And as we do, we also need the federal government to step up as an active partner contributing to the success of our national capital. Now, before I get to the fireside chat, I just want to take a moment to talk very briefly about the U.S. election, which we all know is taking place today. It's not an overstatement to say that this election and the upcoming review of the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement is more consequential than anything else on the horizon to our economy. And folks, just to give you an idea, we do approximately $500 billion a year. If we were a standalone country, which I never recommend, we do no, I don't. I'm just saying, if we were a standalone country, we do $500 billion a year, and it's split equally right down the center. The difference between ourselves, well, we know Canada is the number one, but outside of China and Mexico, the U.S. has massive trade deficits with both those countries. And the difference is, you know, we're right down the center. And as I always say, we're, you know, the best customer, the number one customer to 17 states, and number two to 11 states. 9 million Americans wake up every morning to go to work to produce goods and services for Ontario. So that's a real solid statement when we go down there, and I've been talking to the many governors weekly and congressmen and women and senators just to make sure they understand it's the Can-Am approach, right? We need to work together, and I get it. I spent 20 years in our Chicago, New Jersey facilities. You know, Buy America, they're experts at it, and congratulations to them. I'm just as guilty. I always buy Ontario, buy Canada, but we really have to take a different approach. As everyone here knows, there's no partnership more important to the economic success of Ontario, to the economic success of Canada, than our close ties with the United States. That's why, regardless of the outcome of today's election, our government stands ready to work with our partners south of the border. Above all, we must encourage all politicians on both sides of the border of whatever political stripe to avoid falling into, as I just said, the Buy Canada, Buy America mindset. Instead, as I was mentioning earlier, we should be promoting the Buy Can-Am approach that creates new jobs and opportunities for workers and businesses on both sides of the border, including right here in Ottawa. When the results are in, our government will continue working hard to build relationships critical to our ongoing economic success. Once again, thank you all for joining us. Mayor Sutcliffe, thank you for your partnership and your support. We're going to keep working with you and your council to attract investments, create jobs, keep people and communities safe, and build the infrastructure that Ottawa needs to reach its full potential. And may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Premier. We'd love to have you take a seat. And we're going to pivot into our fireside discussion now. So here to moderate the conversation with the Premier is Ottawa's very own Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Welcome back to Ottawa, sir.
Thank you.
Great to have you here again.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. And you know, the last time we sat down like this, you gave the city of Ottawa a lot of money, so
Yes.
we're very grateful for that. And I think all I gave you was a dozen donuts or something like that.
A dozen donuts and those cookies.
I know.
It's a way to the Premier's heart is through his stomach, just to let you know. I got a big stomach. So.
So I will pass that on to Ginny. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's pick up on a couple of the things that you spoke about just now in your remarks, and maybe you could expand a little bit on the deal that we struck, which was a total of $543 million in investment in Ottawa, which is going to help us address many challenges. But in particular, what you spoke about today around public safety and welcoming newcomers to our city.
Well, starting off on the public safety side, the $48 million to make sure that we fund and support our police officers here, put their lives on the line every single day. I know the Byward Market, they had some challenges there, but we have a little station there as well, which really helps things out to attract people in downtown here. We're working, as I mentioned in my speech, on 174, making sure that we have the funding to make that happen as well. And the Barnsdale cutoff, I think that was $181 million, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to continue supporting you on the homeless shelters as we have, another $40 million. If I'm not mistaken, it's over and on top of 48 million that you received as well. But really what we need to focus on, that's very important. Not to mention the hospital that's being built. I think it's a second largest spend in the country. It's about $12 billion roughly, there and abouts. And, Cam over there is a champion, the CEO. He thinks outside the box, he gets things done, and you couldn't ask for a better CEO of the Ottawa Hospital than Cam.
Yeah, Cam Love, who is the
Cam
CEO
Love.
of the hospital, is just over there.
There you are.
Yeah, with his team.
Where's Cam? Stand up for a minute, Cam. Where are you hiding? Oh,
Stand up, Cam.
There you are,
is.
Cam. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. Great to have you here.
Thank you for all your work, Cam.
And it's great to see, I mean, the work has begun on the hospital, and I know I pass by there all the time, and it's great to see that. And there's many, many more milestones ahead, but that work is ongoing. I think it would be interesting to share, you touched on some of the other things we're working on. We struck this deal in March, but it takes time to implement it, and we work with your ministers, some of whom are here today. We work with your team. We work with the administration at the provincial government, with the bureaucracy. So we're going to continue, I think, in the weeks and months ahead to have more news arising out of that deal, right?
We are. And I understand you're working with our office, which is great, and our ministers, and we're going to start rolling this out. There's one thing I can't stand is government time. I run on private sector time, business time. That's why we've cut over $1 billion of red tape and regulations, saving 1,400,000 hours. Those are big numbers until you can reallocate it. And you, Mary, you're exactly the same. Let's get it done. And let's continue making sure that Ottawa and the people here in the surrounding area have an opportunity to grow and prosper, like the companies that are investing here in Ottawa.
We do have a lot going on in Ottawa, and lots of growth. We're very excited about that. We do face many challenges as well, as you know, and there's been a lot of talk in the province of Ontario about the challenges around homelessness, the opioid crisis, the fact that there are people, and I know anyone in a leadership role feels a very high level of concern and just a great deal of empathy for people who are struggling. What can we do? There's been a lot of different ideas that have been floated. Mayors of other cities have been talking about different solutions. What can we do to support the most vulnerable in Ontario right now?
Well, I differentiate between two groups. Someone with mental health and addiction, we need to support them and give them the opportunities. And through the great leadership of my Deputy Premier, Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, we put a program called Heart Hubs. Heart Hubs is going to be 19 of them, and that's 3 times the amount of funding than one of the consumption sites, which I think was, my personal opinion, is a bad policy. You can't give people drugs when they're an addict. It's like giving someone a bunch of poker chips and dropping them off at the casino, or a gift certificate for $1,000 at the LCBO. It doesn't work. What the hubs are is $378 million that will help people get back on their feet. Make sure if they have mental health or addiction issues, there'll be counseling there. Make sure that they have an opportunity for housing and social service as well, and making sure that they have a roof over their head. But that's the type of support we need to do. We don't need safe supply, and I don't know if people know what safe supply is. What it is, a federal government program that you can walk up and get as many drugs as you want, like hardcore drugs. We aren't talking the pot or anything. Is it, they still call it pot, or they call it weed? I don't even know.
You're asking the wrong guy, Premier.
Growing up, they used to call it doobies when I grew up. But anyways, okay, so we're getting off track here. But we, something. No, these are hardcore drugs. And when I saw the list of them, I'm like dumbfounded. And what they do, they get these drugs and they'll go out to the street and sell them and get more people addicted, and then take that money and buy other drugs. So that's just absolutely unacceptable. We want to give people an opportunity to get back on their feet, have gainful employment, and they just feel good about themselves. But that's our number one goal. But I agree to support these people. And then the other group, as I say, if you're healthy and you're able to work, then you got to get off the couch and start working. I don't care where it is. There's about 250,000 jobs available right now around Ontario, and it's continuously growing. I have an opportunity to speak to my Minister of Economic Development, Vic Fideli, every single day, and once a week he gives me an update. And he gave me an update yesterday, and there was 4 pages of multi-billion-dollar investments in every single sector. Life sciences sector, which is growing tremendously. We've seen over 5,000 new jobs, $5 billion, but there's billions of dollars being invested from around the world. And how we attract them, let's get these life-saving drugs to market. We're the slowest in the G7, it might even be the top 20 countries, getting these life-saving drugs to market. It takes 2 years. That's unacceptable. We'll work with Health Canada and the rest of the premiers to make sure we get that to market. And then the tech sectors too, here is really incredible, the leader in North America. But all I'm asking is if you're able, please go out there and find a job.
And I want to talk more about the tech sector in Ottawa in a moment, but just on the subject of the supervised consumption sites, you know that there are people who say that, that it's not ideal, but that it reduces the harm, right? That it's about harm reduction. There are people who believe in that model. I understand what you're proposing and what the health minister has been proposing to replace that. Can you reassure people that the transition will go smoothly so that nobody slips through the cracks during the transition from, we're going to lose one of the supervised consumption sites in Ottawa, but it will be replaced by a health hub, that during that transition, everyone is supported and cared for?
Well, nothing is going to change until we have the heart hubs in place. We aren't going to get rid of the consumption sites and have nothing. I just believe in a different approach, and I know Sylvia does as well, and our government, a lot of people out there. We're going to fund it 3 times as much as we did on the consumption sites. And honestly, Mayor, I give my phone number out to everyone, and no one understands until they have a consumption site right in their park by their home or right outside of the school, which we're getting rid of if we're close to a daycare or a school. There's needles all over the place, drugs being used, and who shows up to the consumption sites? All the big drug dealers, right? That's where their customers are. And we're just taking a different approach, more support for the people that need help. And my heart breaks for these people. They need help, not more drugs. And we're going to give them more help in all different areas and different ministries will be. It's a multi-ministerial approach.
All right, let's talk about Ottawa's tech sector. As you mentioned, it's one of the largest tech parks in North America, largest in Canada, 1,800 companies. It's been growing rapidly. Some of those companies are here today, that great local businesses, international companies that have invested in Ottawa are hiring people in this city. I know you are very focused on making Ontario the best place in the world to invest. What does that mean for Canada and for Ottawa and for Eastern Ontario? What's ahead that we can count on to make sure that we can continue to grow the tech sector in Ottawa?
Well, making sure that we have the climate and the conditions for companies to come here and invest. The worst thing to do is government creating jobs. That's the worst thing. We can create the climate and the conditions by making sure that we are competitive around the world. We've reduced the cost of doing business here in Ontario by $8 billion each and every single year. I mentioned about cutting the red tape by over $1 billion and making sure we have that climate. No one wants to come to a jurisdiction, and it is so competitive right now on all markets, no matter if it's the life sciences, the tech sector, or the EV sector. They're going to come to an area that there's less red tape, lower taxes, lower energy costs, and we're doing that. We have gone from seeing the taillights of 300,000 people that were employed in companies heading south to the border. The previous government chased 300,000 jobs out of our province. Isn't it amazing what 6 years makes a difference? That there's 860,000 more people working today than there was 6 years ago. And we've become an economic powerhouse. Matter of fact, last year, the manufacturers of this province created more manufacturing jobs than all 50 U.S. states combined. The job numbers came out in the U.S. Just the other day, and I'm waiting for our job numbers, but I have the previous months. 12,000 jobs in the entire U.S. were created. Last month, our job numbers were 43,000. Those are staggering numbers. Number one selling feature are the people. A lot of people in this room right here that are creating new opportunities and new jobs for people. And everyone down in the U.S. and in the world have heard about Ontario now. No matter if it's through, as much as the world's a big place, sectors talk, and it's a very small area of communication, but we're doing well, and it's not I'm not sitting here patting the government on the back. I'm patting the entrepreneurs on the back for taking the bull by the horns and running with it. It's really, really incredible, especially in the tech sector. Remember the years, and it wasn't long ago, just a few years ago, our young people would graduate, right, out of Ottawa, Carleton, Waterloo, U of T, and they'd go to the airport, they'd hop on the plane, they'd go to the San Francisco Bay Area or Silicon Valley. That stopped. We are growing in Ontario 365% faster than Silicon Valley and San Francisco Bay Area. They employ about 388,000 people. We're well over 430,000, and that's changing on a daily basis, nonstop, especially in the tech sector. And we're going to see more opportunities, more investments over the next year. And I always say the best is yet to come. We're on a roll, and we're going to keep rolling.
How important is quality of life in that? Because I think it is increasingly becoming more about attracting people than attracting companies. Obviously, we want to continue to attract companies. We want them to come to Ottawa and start their businesses here, grow their businesses here. But at a time when people can live anywhere and work virtually, I think it's really critical that we're targeting people and attracting people to Ottawa and to Ontario so that they choose to live here and drive our economy that way.
It's critical, the quality of life, and that's another big selling feature. I spent 20 years, folks, in the U.S. and in Chicago and in New Jersey, and I traveled to 45 states on the plane every day. And I've said to the big investors, let's use the EV sector. I always say to all of them, the quality of life, is second to none here in Ontario and in the Ottawa region. And I love the U.S. I absolutely love it. But there's some tough neighborhoods I could bring you to that you aren't coming home. They're tough neighborhoods. You go on the south side of Chicago, people have no idea. It's a very, very tough area. But here, I still, as much as, we see some crime here and there, nothing's compared to around the world. For the most part, I think we live in a very safe city here in Ottawa, and even Toronto. There's always some incidents, but I think we have an incredible police service here and right across the province. So quality of life is so important. And they look at schools for their kids too. We graduate over 70,000 STEM graduates every single year. Nowhere in North America graduates 70,000 STEM graduates. So you have the talent pool, you have the quality of life. I think we're ripe for the picking. And that's why people are loving Ontario right now.
Yeah, and I think you're right that, obviously we always have concerns about public safety, and we continue to invest in policing and paramedics and firefighters, but we do have it pretty good in Ontario and here in Ottawa in particular. Your finance minister, Peter Bethlen-Falvey, introduced his fall economic statement a few days ago. What do you consider to be the most important parts of that, and how will they impact our city here in Ottawa?
Well, I think the three top ones all the time, at least what we see, is obviously healthcare is right up there, cost of living, affordability, and the economy. Without a strong economy, you can't fund the healthcare that we put record amounts of funding in, over $33 billion. The budget's about $85 billion when it comes to healthcare, unprecedented. I think we have the best doctors, the best nurses, the best hospitals. I'll put them up against anyone. But it's no different than manufacturing or the private sector, same as the healthcare. Our spending around the world is CIHI that measures it, and I know on another side PCPA. But in manufacturing, we need to increase our productivity. And here in the tech sector, they're more productive 4 to 5 times here in Ottawa than other regions. And it's no different than the healthcare system. We're pouring money in. I always talk to the CEOs. As I always say to everyone, I'm going to get shot by all the CEOs. If everyone could take a page out of Cam's book, because he doesn't have to go through all the red tape. He gets it done and shows the results and increases productivity. And I always say there's different ways of delivering healthcare. Down in the U.S., which I'd never believe in the private healthcare system, I just don't, and they'll never be under our watch. You'll always pay with your OHIP card, but there's ways of delivering it differently. All I know is when I had to bring workers or myself or anyone over 20 years to the hospital, you walk in there, your butt doesn't sit on that seat for 2 minutes, and you're moving. And I always say, let's come up with a plan. They're the experts. I'm not a healthcare expert. They are. Tell me what you need to make the system move a lot quicker and more efficiently. And don't get me wrong, there's great hospitals that are moving forward, but we just need to move a little quicker.
It's tough, though, isn't it? I mean, the demands on the healthcare system are growing. It makes up a bigger and bigger percentage of the provincial budget every year. We face challenges around getting paramedics back out into the community because they're in the waiting rooms at hospitals. So beyond putting more money into the system, which you're doing, what else can we do to improve healthcare? Just
thinking outside the box, no matter if it's technology. I know Sylvia and I were at St. Joe's in Hamilton, robotics. It's staggering, the technology. And I'm a big fan of robotics because if we don't give the tools to the great docs here, and especially the young ones that come on board, then they're going to go somewhere that they want the latest and greatest technology. We're adding more medical seats. We're building for the first time in decades new medical universities. No matter if it's over at U of T or York or TMU, be it Ottawa, right across the province. But folks, people forget. Last year, we were the fastest growing region in North America. You have an opportunity to talk to people. You talk to the folks in Texas and the governors down there. We're the fastest growing state in the U.S. And then Governor DeSantis, he's saying Florida's the fastest growing state. They both say we get 1,000 people a day coming into our state. That's 365,000 a year. We grew faster than Florida and Texas combined. You drop 800,000 people on your doorstep in 1 year, yeah, you're gonna face challenges. So we need to slow that down because I'm guilty, because we needed people to fill the jobs. We had so many jobs being created, and we needed people. So I was out there beating the drums. We need more people. We need more people. We have the people now. We just have to slow this down a bit to get caught up on healthcare, caught up on infrastructure, caught up on making sure we have enough homes to support these people. And then you have the asylum seekers as well. Over 160,000 people are here in Ontario. And I know when I talked to the feds and they said we brought, I think last year was 1.1 million or something. I said, where are the rest of the people going? Oh, they're going to BC, they're going to Nova Scotia, they're going here, there. I said, I'm not a betting guy, but I'll bet you, a donut that, half the, at least half those people, guess where they're coming? They're coming to Ontario, the economic powerhouse, because there's jobs and opportunities here. So we're going to keep supporting people, and no matter if it's refugees or asylum seekers, folks, all they've come here is for a better life. I've talked to these people. They're up in my riding in Etobicoke North, in the hotels, and when I'm going through the Tim Hortons, my daily run, I pull over, they're right there, and the problem is they're waiting for a working permit. They want to work. All these people want to work, but they're waiting 18 months to 2 years to get a working permit. Give them a working permit. Let them contribute, because right now, Ontario Works, it's costing us $1 billion a year for these folks. And I have no problem, but the feds have to step up. We get nothing from the feds saying, here, let's support them. They may give you a little drab of money for it, might give Toronto a little bit, but the $1 billion is landing on the taxpayers of Ontario. So the quicker we can get them out in the working world there and paying taxes and contributing, that's great. And speaking of taxes, Mayor, I'm very, very simple. Government doesn't have an income problem. Governments have spending problems. We have never, ever raised a tax. We will never, ever raise a tax. We came in, and I'm sorry, folks, I'm just a numbers guy. Numbers don't lie. When we came into office, revenues were $150 billion, that people were leaving the province, so on and so forth. Today, went from $150 billion to $214 billion, an increase of $64 billion. And how did we increase it without raising taxes? There's 860,000 people paying taxes that weren't paying taxes. There's probably $60 to $70 billion of investment that are here that weren't here 6 years ago. So I believe in increasing revenue, and I always believe, a strong believer, is each and every one of you and every single company can spend your money a lot wiser than the government is. We saw a little boost in our revenues this year through capital gains, unfortunately through inflation, and we thought, we need to give this back to the people. It's not our money. We have enough money. Our deficits come down. The credit rating agency increased our credit, I think it's AA now, and we're one of the few that are going to balance in another 2 years. Like, no offense to BC, BC's not going to balance. Quebec's not going to balance. Feds aren't going to balance, but Ontario is going to balance. And that's on top of spending close to $200 billion on infrastructure, $50 billion on hospitals. Never been done before. $180 billion on transit. And we're just going to keep moving forward and making sure we watch every dollar wisely.
You brought up the U.S. election in your
Yes.
remarks. Are you worried about the potential outcome and the impact on Ontario? Because you mentioned the importance of trade between our two countries and between Ontario and the United States, and we could be entering into a period of uncertainty after this election. So can you expand on your thoughts on where we might go from here after the U.S. election?
Well, I'll work with anyone. Over the last number of years, we've built everything, and I don't have to tell the people in this room, it's all about relationships. That's what it's about. No matter if it's Governor Walz, that's potentially could be the vice president, talking about throwing the football around. He walked in, he saw a picture of Rob and the football, and he said, hey, I was a football coach too. We start tossing the ball around, you build up that relationship, you have the cell numbers to each other, you can pick it up and make the phone call, or a lot of the governors that come to the House, and broken bread, or the senators or Congress people. Do you remember when President Trump got elected and he put these steel tariffs on? And I went down, and the federal government, Prime Minister Trudeau and my friend Chrystia Freeland, which I really like, said, can you go down there and talk to Lighthizer? He's the guru that's making these deals around the world. And I did go down there. I had a great chat with him, built up an excellent relationship with him, talked to him numerous times, and I said, just, do not put tariffs on our steel. Well, they put tariffs on our steel, and I went and called Christie and said, tariff everything. Everything. I don't care if it's popcorn to one stuck out in my mind was bourbon in Kentucky. And isn't it amazing when they realize that we're the third largest trading partner and 9 million people, as I said, wake up to go to work, to produce products for Canada? I think that lasted 4 weeks, and it's done. It was done because it doesn't matter if you're the president, the premier, or the prime minister. When you have your governor screaming at you, when you have your Congress people screaming at you, and your senators screaming at you, saying, hey, we can't ship to Canada without being tariffed. I believe in free trade, but fair trade. And we're very different than Mexico and the rest of the world. We're their number one trading partner and number one ally. We have the same lifestyles. We share the same values. So no matter who it is, we'll be down there in full force. If you're lucky as a premier, you get to be the chair of the Confederation, COF. And I just got lucky because you get it once every 13 years. So Ontario now, all of us, that's not about me, it's all of us, we're the chair of the Confederation, and we're going to really move. The premiers have a phenomenal relationship with each other, no matter what political stripe. All of us call each other, talk to each other, and we work well together. They're coming to Toronto December the 15th for a quick meeting, and I'm going to make sure that one of the key priorities is to get approvals for these life-saving drugs. I see that we're getting the hook, so I can sit here and talk it for another hour. That's great, but I just want to thank everyone for coming, because you folks make it happen here, not just in Ontario, but in Ottawa. I'm very, very grateful, and just call me on my cell phone, text message me. You have to just go online, the internet, Doug Ford's cell phone number, and I'm serious. You text me, I will get back to you. I'm going to get shot by my deputy premier. Because
just don't give out her number.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But I do have a special 800 number. I can give this one out. So if my line's busy, just call 1-800-CALL Mayor Sutcliffe, and he'll take care of it. So,
Premier, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Premier Ford and Mayor Sutcliffe for such a fabulous conversation. We really appreciate you coming today, and the Economic Club of Canada is thrilled to be back in Ottawa, where we love to come. So now I'd like to introduce Mark Vinus, Country President for Novartis Canada, to share his final words and to give a final thank you to Premier Ford and Mark Sutcliffe.
Premier Ford, Mayor Sutcliffe, thank you so much. Today is a bit of a special day, right, south of the border. As an American, I come at this from optimism and pragmatism. The relationship, the economic ties, the binds between our nations have existed before any of us existed. It's multi-generation, all the way back to the foundings of our nations. And it's because it's in our best interests. The U.S. and Canada are stronger together, and I think sound minds and pragmatism will prevail, and this relationship, these economic ties, this bind will persist after all of us have moved on to greener pastures. So I'm a believer that this will persist. I'm an optimist, and I think pragmatism will see the day. If I change hats as the president of Novartis Canada, as a board member of Innovative Medicines Canada, Bettina, thank you so much for your thoughtful comments. I couldn't be more aligned. Premier Ford, I want to thank you for your leadership and your government's sustained, focused investment in the health of Ontarians, in the life science sector, and the leadership you show. It really, really shines through. It's working. Your strategy is working. A couple days after the announcement of the government's second phase of the life sciences strategy, Novartis opened our new office in downtown Toronto. Your strategy is working. We hear you. Novartis chooses Ontario.
Thank you.
Premier Ford, your leadership is trans-Canadian, and your leadership within the Council of the Federation, where there is a commitment to address long-term challenges to a challenge to access to medicine and speed to patients. Minutes count, days count, months count for these patients, and you're committed to it, and I thank you for that. Novartis shares this sense of commitment, this sense of urgency that minutes matter. Novartis is the first to bring CAR T therapy to Canada for cancer. Novartis is the first to bring gene therapy to cancer for children with spinal muscular atrophy. And in an area that I think will resonate with you, given your government's focus on medical isotopes, the first to bring radioligand therapy to Canada, which harnesses the power of those medical isotopes. These are medical isotopes built and made in Ontario for all of Canada. Medicine made in Canada for Canadians, and broader than that, medicine made in Canada, in Ontario, for all of North America, and I think tomorrow much broader. But we can't get this done alone. It requires collaboration with government, and let me tell you, your team is phenomenal. Minister Jones, Minister Fedeli, our collaboration with them is unsurpassed in effectiveness. This government moves at the speed of business, not the speed of government. It is a sense of urgency that we feel and we respect. And it also requires collaboration with academics, with physicians, with systems. So in closing, I want you to know that Novartis will be your partner in ensuring that Ontario remains at the forefront of health tech innovation. And with that, I'd like to thank you on behalf of everyone here, both Mayor Sutcliffe and Premier Ford. Thank you so much for your time and your comments today. Thank you.
And that wraps up our luncheon for today. So a big thank you to all of you for joining us today. And a final round of applause for our sponsors, Innovative Medicines Canada, Transit Next, and Novartis. We'll see you the next time when we're in Ottawa. Thanks for coming.